Okay, so this episode is that girl. This episode is definitely that girl. And I'm about to tell you why in this review, breakdown, / speculations, / everything. Let's talk about it, okay? So, hi, my name is Trey Francis. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button. Also, give this video a thumbs up. That helps me greatly. I would greatly appreciate it, okay? It is free to do so. Help a brother out. So anyways, we're gonna jump right into this. This is a review and a breakdown for Lovecraft Country episode 4 from the first season, right? Right. Okay, so the opening image with this particular episode, we saw Atticus's father, which I believe his name is Montrose, if that's how you pronounce it. So we're gonna call him Montrose because that's his name. So anyway, Montrose is drinking. He's smoking a little bit. No, I'm kidding. He's drinking though, and he's going through it. He's having a lot of thoughts of the last conversation that he had with Uncle George before Uncle George later passed. Right, and in like the second or third whatever episode that was, when Uncle George passed, that last conversation that they had about him not being Atticus's father. And so one of my first speculations is, who is Atticus' father? Is it Uncle George? I don't believe that they said it was him. There was some alluding to that. However, I still feel as though until they give it to us, we really don't know. So my brain is trying to think like, who is the father? Who is the father? Now I know it ain't some, who is his father? I need to know. But anyways, he has the book that they was talking about in one of these episodes. And he looks at the book. He reads a few pages about Adam and Eve and stuff. So this is the book that Christina's father was definitely talking about before she had him murdered. Because that was her. She had her father murdered. But anyways, this is the book that he was talking about that I believe has some of the pages ripped out of it, or whatever the case may be. He throws that shit in a bin and he lights it up. Montrose. And I was just like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? I understand it from his perspective, but no, like your son's trying to find out some stuff and it looks like he's along for the journey. This is like another speculation. It feels like he's along for the journey to fuck shit up. He's not along for the journey to help him figure out shit. He's along for the journey to keep Atticus, to get Atticus and Letty close to it, but then like it's like close but no cigar. You know what I mean? Like that is my second speculation for this episode. Let me know what you guys think. Who is Atticus's father? And then do you think Montrose is really on this journey with Letty and Tig to really kind of figure out what's going on, or is he there to sort of make some distractions? Let's get into it because we're about to talk about this episode. So that's how this opened. And then we had we hear one of my favorite songs by Rihanna, "Bitch Better Have My Money." Yay! We pulling up. So Christina is pulling up. When I tell you Christina is a G, Christina is a G, and we're gonna get to how much more of a G she is the later we get into this episode. But Christina is that girl as well. Christina is that girl. Christina pulls up playing "Bitch Better Have My Money." She pulls up outside of Letty's place, and she's basically like, "Can I come in?" And she was just about to walk into this hole like she owned the place, right? And there was like a force field that kept her from going in there. So she looking and she sees the axe in the wall, the blood, and she's like, "Oh, who helped you with this shit to keep me out?" And Letty's like, "You know what? I'm not here for you and what you're trying to do over here because it ain't gonna work." Like apparently, Letty is definitely on to the fact that Christina came over here looking for some papers. She's looking for some documents, right? She wants this power, right? That's why, like I said, she had her father murdered. She wants this power. She knew her father wasn't gonna be able to do it without those pages. She just already knew it, and she set him up for it to be murdered, essentially. So she really is on the hunt for herself to become the most powerful and the most all-knowing and the most all these things. That is Christina's agenda. So Letty's basically like, "You know what? You can't come up in here because I got this X marks the spot on my fucking door, and you thought this was it, but it's not. Get the fuck up off my steps for basically just get the fuck up off my steps, right? I ain't having it with you." So then Letty pays a visit on over to the Southside Colored Library. Remember, this is 1950, so there's a black library, there's a white library. There's a white library, there's a library for black folks, there's a library for white folks. So he's in there, he's doing the research because he's trying to figure out how he can sort of fuck up Christina's plan because he's on to her. And so, oh, I forgot to mention, while Christina was there, you know, because she's all about her womanist sort of feminist sort of thing, but as you can see, her feminist thing, and this is what we talk about when we talk about intersectionality, her feminist thing, like she's strictly looking out for herself. I'm just gonna have to say it, as a white woman. Like, that's just what she's doing. Let's just keep it 100. She's strictly looking out for herself, but she's trying to use the black woman in this instance to take down a black man, and we ain't here for the shit. So fuck off, ho. So anyways, we're on to you, Christina. Although you're that girl because you give me life with some of these lines that they give you. You give me life with, like, you always done it. Like, you look good. Like, you give me life. But hold on, ho. But anyways, so then Letty starts to kind of flip through the pages, and Tick is just like, no, I don't want you to be a part of this. Like, let me just handle it. You go home. So then Tick goes over to the bar, and he finds that Letty didn't storm off and go home like he told her to. She stormed off and she went and found his father, and they're in there discussing stuff. Essentially, the father is withholding information, right, from Tick, and basically tells Tick to stop this manhunt. Like, he ain't trying to help Tick, you know, fuck things up more than they already have. He doesn't want Tick to fuck things up more than they already are, right? There's already supernatural things happening. There's all this kind of witchcraft and stuff like this. He's like, hey, I'm done with this shit. Like, you need to be done with it too. Like, just leave it alone. So, of course, Tick gets up and he storms off. And Letty's like, you know what? You're withholding information, and you're not gonna give that to him. You're not gonna allow us to use this information so we can figure out what the fuck we need to figure out to get out of the predicament that we're in. Oh, I know why your son like he is, because you're a fucked up father. Now I know why Tick fucked up too, because he came from you. And I was just like, oh, well, little do you know, girl, little do you know. We know something that you don't know. We know something that you don't know, right? We know he's not his father. So she don't know this, but we do. So then there was this interesting scene where Christina was outside with her big ass playing with these little kids. What was a good tag or whatever? Tag you it. And she was definitely it, because the police chief saw her in his town and was like, what the fuck? He brought her in and was like, what the fuck are you doing here? I told you to never sell in this town again, essentially, right? And you know, he basically calls her everything but a child of God, and he's basically like, you know what, you couldn't get into the ministry, if you will, that's what I'm gonna call it, because there's no women allowed. So I don't know why you're out here searching for these papers. You're not gonna find them. And essentially, I feel like he's also trying to do it too, because remember I said in my previous review and / breakdown, he was very close with Titus. He was very close with these people, right? He was a part of Titus' group and that scientist who was doing tests on black people, which we know stems from a very historical, very real aspect of American history. We know that this was a thing that was done to black people. White men were testing us and giving us different things in our communities to take back home, and then there was no fucking cure for it, and so then we were dying. So that's taken right out of just the history book. Well, not the history books they give us, because they leave a lot of this shit out. However, we know what we know. But anyways, so the police captain, he on to her ass, and he don't want her in his town. So then Tick's father agrees. He basically agrees to help them after Letitia tells him what she tells him. And so now they're all going to get together and they're going to go. As they're getting ready to go, I'm going to call her Hippo for short, because that's part of her name. I think it's Hippolyta. And the daughter, and I forget the daughter's name. But they coming on the trip too. So they always showing up, and Tick and Letty's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, how are they coming with us? And he was like, well, it's their car, and so we got to play by her rules. So not only does Hippolyta and her daughter agree to go, which is Uncle George's wife and his daughter, but then the black guy, remember the black guy in the last episode who got Tick all up in his feelings about Letty, talking about that, you know, he used to sleep around with Letty in high school or whatever it gets to be, which, that ain't a lie. But anyways, he's coming along too, because he wants to go on. He has some way to go, and so the Hippolyta agreed to allow him to come with them on this journey. So, anyways, we do a quick segue, and Rose goes into this upscale clothing store. And at first, I was like, wait, was this one of the places that she had applied to in the past and she didn't get it, or was this a place that she wanted to apply to? Because remember, she had some words to give Letty about, hey, you just can't go over to their side of town and think you're gonna get hired. Like, they ain't doing all of that. But as we know with Rose's character, she's been big on getting her resume together so she can get hired at a place, because, she likes to sing and stuff like this, but that don't always pay the bills sometimes. So you gotta, she's trying to get something that's a little bit more steady, right? And so when she walks in, she sees this other black woman who had gotten hired. And the black lady was like, yeah, I just got hired on a whim. And she's more petite than Rose. Rose is very curvy and very womanly. And the other girl, she's a black woman too, but she's very petite, right? She's small, she's tight, whatever. So Rose kind of felt some type of way. This is another speculation I have. At first I was speculating that she had applied there and then she didn't get the job and she thought it was maybe because of her curvier figure. But then I come to the resolution that because there was already a black woman that was hired there, they only wanted one, which we know this is a big thing when it comes to, a lot of places. It's not even, I was going to say the entertainment industry because that's what I'm a part of, and we know how what these gatekeepers be trying to do. Not be trying to have us in spaces, right? And saying our shit don't sell and this and this and this and just all this dumb shit. But anyways, we know that this happens in a lot of different marketplaces across the U.S., a lot of different jobs and workplaces across the U.S. And across the world. Let's just be honest. If one of us get a spot, they try to keep it in our head that, you're that token person, so you can't let someone else come to your spot. Instead of allowing more of us to open up the doors to provide opportunities for more of us, they try to keep as many of us out of this shit as fucking possible. And so then that was my speculation. I was like, I get it. Because they hired black person number one, they couldn't do a second one. That would be too much. So we're gonna try to show you, because remember, this is the 50s, some of the things that started to happen. So they're trying to accommodate, but just for one of y'all. Two is too many, right? Right. So then they arrive in Boston because that's where this museum is, right? They need to go to Boston to this museum to find those pages. Those pages are somewhere in this museum. So when they arrive, Tick in Montrose, his father, they're already on their way looking for what needs to be going on. Tree, his nickname, the tall guy, Tree trying to flirt with Letty, whom it's apparent Letty's made it very clear that they did not hook up. He wasn't bringing her back in. Never. He wanted to go on his trip. To me, it looked like to try to flirt with her and see if he can get something out, while he was going on their way over this trip. However, Letty don't fuck with him, and she's on the same mission that Tick and Montrose is on. Where are these papers? Because we need them so we can fuck up Christina's plan, because Christina is very powerful already as it is, right? And we don't need her to become all powerful, because then shit gonna, you think it's left, now it's gonna go severely left. Okay. So then, Hippolyta and her daughter, they go to learn about the stars. They're in this exhibit about the stars, whatever the case may be, and we get this interesting story, which I love that they included this story in here. A lot of the conversation between Hippolyta and her daughter in this episode was very just because she was telling this story about how she had won this competition, and whoever won this competition got to name a comet. This comet that hadn't been named yet, and so she won the competition. She had come up with the name for the comet, which was Hera's comet, if I'm not mistaken. Hera's Hera comet. However, they gave the credit to some Swedish white daughter of a scientist. They gave it to her, so she was credited for it and not her, which, as we know, when we talk about American history, right, because Black history is American history. When we talk about American history, we know from music, from film, from so many different inventions, just different patents, all this kind of stuff like this. things were stolen from us. Things were stolen from us. Other people got credit for it who did not create and or invent and or do any of it, had no relation to this shit. They just took it once we created it or invented it or whatever the case may be, and claimed it as their own, which is still something that is done vastly in America today. And you know, because I can speak on America, it's done vastly in America today, where people are still appropriating and taking things and when it's seen on us or when we do it, it's all types of ghetto, it's all types of uncivilized, it's all types of, oh, that's not proper, that's this, that's that, that's you know, ratchet or whatever. But then when someone else does it, when another group does it, it's praised. They are able to monetize it, right? They're able to make money off of something that society, right, quote unquote, deemed disgusting on us, but when someone else does it, now it's lovely. How convenient, right? How convenient. But we own to this shit nowadays, and you can stop it, because every time you do it, we're gonna call you out for it. But that's another story. So anyways, Tig essentially figures out, okay, this is what we need to do. This is he basically figures out, like, this statue, which is of Titus, is the entrance to where they need to go. However, they need time to come back later to figure it out. So Montrose was over talking to the security, and the security guard, he's a black security guard, say, hey, come back at midnight or whatever case may be. You're gonna have 2 hours before my shift ends and the next security guard comes on, but I can let you in and you can try to figure out this shit out, but you only got 2 hours and that's it. Okay? Okay. So that's what they do. Oh, and I did some research about Hera's. Yeah, it was called Hera's Chariot. That was the name of it. I'm sorry. Hera's Chariot. That was the name that Hippolyta coined for this comet. And I did some research on Hera, on the name Hera, and it says Hera is the goddess of women, marriage, family, and childbirth in Greek mythology. She ruled over Mount Olympus, and she was the queen of gods. So she was the daughter, if I'm not mistaken, of Zeus in their mythology, right? So, next thing we know, this is why I said, so remember how I said Christina's that girl? Christina literally is that girl. Christina got shooters, okay? You fuck with Christina, she got shooters for your ass. So she pulls up outside of her place, and she notices, because, you know, Christina's very observant. She's very keen, right? She has her ways about her. So she noticed that there's some guys who are following her, basically the captain's guys. Remember I told you the captain, the chief police or whatever, he brought her in and tried to question her about why she was in his town. Well, he sent some people to follow her. And you don't follow Christina because she got some shooters. So when Christina goes in, they hold that camera still, which I thought was a lovely shot. I love shots like that. She pulls up her car, she gets out, she walks around, she goes into her house. It holds for 3 seconds, and then out walks William, right? Blue eyes, blonde hair. William walks out. Hey, hello, gentlemen. Oh, hey, God. Just sticking him right there. Lays him out flat, steps over them, and he says, it was nice meeting you, gentlemen, but I got a date. Because remember, remember what Christina said? She said, sometimes they play around on the weekends, and we all know what play around on the weekends mean. But I digress. So, he got a date, he said. So then we go back over to the museum. They figure out the entrance. They get down into the entrance, and when they take this rope down or whatever the case may be, when they get down there, they can see that there's 3 tunnels, and they have to figure out which tunnel they're going to go on. At first, I thought it was the west tunnel, I think it was. They were gonna go that way, and then Letty remembered something, and so she figured out, nah, nigga, it ain't the west. We gotta go north, right? Because remember, at this point, they remember they only have 2 hours to do all of this, right? Or they're gonna get caught and get arrested, whatever the case may be, or may just die down here in this place, because who knows, right? At this point, we didn't see an exit, so you gotta do what you gotta do. So, they choose the north. So then we see Rose. She's having a rough day, right? She's down on herself. She's pitying herself, and she's at this nightclub, whatever it is to me, and she's performing with her guitar, and she's singing a little ditty, right? And she finishes off, and the crowd kind of gives like a lackluster sort of, And we've seen Rose perform much better than this performance, but she's sad, and so it was. I love that the performance embodied what she was feeling on the inside, because as a creator, right? We channel what we experience and then we put that out there, right? Right. So she walks over to the bar and the bartender is pouring her a drink and she's like, no, like I can't afford this. Like I don't need to be drinking or whatever case it be. And he was like, you don't have to worry because the blonde haired, blue eyed person, the guy down at the other end of the bar, he's been paying. These are on his, this is on him, and he said he wants to get this to you. And so we look down at the end of the bar and who do we see but fine William. Let's just keep it real. Fine William sitting at the end of the bar, and he comes over, he approaches her, and Letty's basically just giving him this down on luck, this pity, this sob story, right? Which I understand because what she's saying is true. So it's tea, right? And it's so sad. It's so sad that what she was describing, which was basically the discrepancies when it comes to sort of the workplace and just like how it's just easier for some people to get a leg up, and like how there's a system that's put in place that is working exactly as it was designed to keep us down, yet people try to pull the wool over our eyes by saying pull yourself up by your bootstraps when niggas don't be having boots. Like, just stop with the bull, so she's just telling him all this kind of stuff like this, and he's listening, right? And, he got one thing in his mind. Well, maybe two, because we already know since he's one of Christina's goons, he's one of Christina's hitmen, right? That he is there with some ulterior motives. Like, he ain't just there to do what we think he about to do. However, he giving her the eyes, whatever case may be, and he looking cute or whatever, and he's trying to, woo her. He's trying to woo Miss Rose. So then... we jump back over to the museum, and they're in the middle of this tunnel. As they get halfway through this tunnel, they notice that there's basically like a 6-inch plank that leads off, because there's a drop off, right? They get to this drop off, and then there's this plank that just goes across to the other side. They can't even see what the other side looks like, right? They don't know if this thing is stable. They don't know anything about this. However, they can't turn back now. They must keep going. So they devise this plan where they tie this rope around them, and they have to get going out there. So as they're going, ladies first, Tick follows her. There's the swinging pendulum with the axe on the end that's about to chop off any nigga or any hoe who's trying to cross over, right? Right. So as they're going through, Letty makes it through. Tick was about to go, but before Tick can go, Montrose, he noticed that he notices that some ants came and they started biting at like a fleet of ants. I don't know what you call a group of ants. Maybe that's what you call them. But a group of ants come over. They start biting at the wood or whatever, some ticks or whatever. And the wood is starting to disappear. So... now it's Tick's turn to catch his father, right, Montrose, and get him over there. And it was so hilarious because first his father tried to throw the bag, which the bag had like a map or something that Letty had taken off the wall, an artifact or whatever, that we needed for this mission. However, when he threw the bag to take up the shit done fell down in the in the abyss, right? So now the father's like, nigga, you better catch me. You let me fall in this hole, I'ma fuck you up in the afterlife. Like he was dead serious. I hollered. So he gives a running start and he jumps and Tick catches him. And now Letty's like, okay, we don't got time for this shit. We got to get across this hole. So then they start running. Tick makes it through. I think he gets like a little cut or something like this. And then the father makes it through. And then they come up to a door. This door, they have to figure out a code to get through. I was like, they about to die, y'all. So the plank is still getting eaten away, right? It's getting closer and closer. They have to figure it out. Montrose has the clues, and so he's telling them how to piece it all in there. But he been playing sleep, like I said. I don't know if he's on this trip to really help them out, or if he's really on this trip to kind of like help. He don't want to die, so he's like, okay, I can help you out to keep us alive. However, he's still trying to throw them off a little bit, right? I'm getting vibes of like, some messiness from Montrose. But anyways, they get through that door. Once they get through that door, there's some water on the floor. And remember, if you recall, when Tick first went down from the museum down into the tunnel where the tunnel entrance was, he looked up with the flashlight and he saw something about the water rising, the tides rising, whatever it needs to be, and that's exactly what's happening with this water. So they made it this far. However, if you don't find what you need to find and get out of there with it, in time, you will drown. That's just how this game goes, okay? So every step closer they get, it's almost like taking a step back, because there's always another dilemma. There's always another challenge. There's always another something in their way. So then, like I said earlier, we get back to Rose. She's still on her Always Me thing. I'm sorry, but William up there looking fine. He giving her the eyes like, okay, girl, like, I hear what you're saying, but I'm trying to like, I don't even know what guys do. Straight guys do. I don't even know. So don't even ask me. But he's trying to, okay, you got some game, whatever. And she's like, look here, white boy, like, I don't know what you're looking at me like that for, because ain't nothing about to happen, white boy. Like that again. And though her eyes settle, and I was just like, ooh, her eyes settle. He looked at her, she looked at him. Next thing we know, Rose took him back to the crib. And as we know, right, remember, Christina couldn't get in. So, like I said, there was some plot. This is where I was speculating. I was like, there's some plot, right? Because we know him and Christina work together. There's some plot for him to get into the place, because he ain't a witch like her. He ain't like her, so he can get in. And then he gonna start snooping. So that's one of my speculations. But anyways, in this moment right here, this right here is he was, first of all, they making out. He takes her over to the stairs. They didn't make it up to the bedrooms. They stopped right there on the stairs. She was on top of him. Then he flipped her over. Now he on top of her. He just ripped her dress in one swift move. He opened up his pants and he breaking her back in. And I was just like, I'm living for this. Like, I'm here for it. I'm in for it. Yes, it was cute. Rose got her some on one of her worst days ever, right? She got her some, and that's all you can ask for sometimes. That's all that we needed sometimes. I mean, that's all that we needed sometimes. So she got her some, and I was here for it, because I like Rose and I like William enough, because we got to keep our good eye on William, but I like William enough. So anyways, so yeah, he's trying to put her to bed so he can sleep around. So then, now we jump back over here. This water's way up, way up. They still haven't found shit yet. I'm like, they gonna die, y'all. They gonna die. They gonna die. Because they uncoordinated. They ain't got their shit together. They down there arguing. The father this and this. Nah, we gotta get the fuck up out of here. We have less than an hour now. Like, this shit is up to our necks. Like, we gotta get the fuck up out of here. So, Letty, she's swimming on the water. She's kind of frantic. Looking around, and then there was this cute moment where I kind of got emotional again. Like, this show gonna do it to me, where the father was telling him something about something about his father. He's basically like, you know what, you gotta have a song for your girl, which I'm gonna say significant other, because this could be for anyone. You gotta have a song for your significant other. You want to know why? Dad? Because when they get the fussing and fighting, because he basically told me to apologize. He was like, because when they get the fussing, he's like, all that fussing is just a whole bunch of loving. Like, they're just putting a whole bunch of loving on you. And you know what? If you just had that song in your head to remember them in this sweet moment, in like a good moment, maybe it's like your song, right, for this person that brings you back to a special moment between the two of you. When all that is done, they gonna want some loving. They just want to be, they just want to kiss up, hug up, and fill up all on you. And we here for that, right? Right. So it just made me emotional. So it was like, okay, like, this is a celebration of Black love. Like, this is just beautiful. It was just beautiful. I loved it. But anyways, so as Letty's swimming around, she finally finds the vault door. She's like, hey guys, this is it. So they all go over there. They see her arm. Because you have to put your hand through this hole with a key. So if you don't got the right key, or you ain't, that's your arm. That's your arm. Your arm's gone. So we see a severed arm. It looks like the person's arm got stuck in there, and they was trying to get it off. As they were pulling off, the hole ripped off. That person died, of course, because we saw their body, like 20 minutes ago in the episode. But anyways, take his he digs into his pocket, he pulls out his ring, and he puts it on his finger, and he's like, maybe this is it. So he puts his arm through, and at first, like, things are okay, and then that hole gets stuck, and you see blood coming up, and they try to help him get out. He's like, wait, okay, maybe it's just like a syringe, and then, it's okay. Like, it wasn't doing he didn't feel too worried. So then we see his blood circulating to the thing, it lights up, and then this No, they had gotten to this elevator, I think, already. There was this elevator that opened up, which basically is like an exit, but they weren't ready to exit because they didn't have what they needed. So then they got to this door. That what I said just happened, and then this ladder drops down from the sky, and I'm like, oh, so is this the exit? Like, was that elevator like the wrong exit? Like, is this the exit? However, no, that wasn't it. So this elevator opened, this ladder falls down. They go up the ladder. They go in there. Letty spots the papers that they need. When they go over there, they try to grab for the papers. This corpse starts to, gyrate and stuff. Her hips start to not lie, and she wakes up, right? She wakes up, and then she turns into her human form. And basically, I'm gonna call her Siren because I didn't figure out her name, but there's a point where, so if you've seen the episodes, you know why I'm calling her Siren. So in the sense of the noise that she made. So I don't want to say Banshee, like I want to just say Siren. But anyway, her name is Siren for this. So Siren wakes up and she starts to talk in tongues or whatever. And so no one can understand her except for none other than Tick. Tick understands her. So he's translating to both Letty and Montrose what she's saying, and basically she tells the story of Titus coming down there basically and getting upset with her, and he's a bad person, right? He killed her family. He basically turned her into this corpse, left her down there with this spell on her, or whatever the case may be, and disappeared, or whatever the case may be. And she was down there basically to just live for eternity. However, Tick was like, that's not me. And she's like, you know what? I can't hold you for the sins of your ancestors. However, I don't know your spirit, so I can't help you. So then she falls back over like she did, or whatever the case may be. So Montrose is like, hey, you know what? We actually just came for these papers, so we're going to grab these papers. We're just going to get the fuck up out of here. Okay, that's cool with you. That's cool. Okay, so she didn't do nothing. We grabbed the papers. I'm thinking like, oh, okay, like this was easy. But as I should know, because I write scripts, as I should know, shit can never get easier. As soon as your character takes a breath in, you have to do something to like punch them in the stomach. You know what I mean? Gotta punch a hole in the stomach as soon as they get a breath in, right? Knock the wind out of them. So that's what happens. Water starts bursting through. And I was like, oh, so they was real about them dying with water. Like, it's like, no matter if you get the papers or not, you still about to die. So basically, they're like, let's get the fuck up out of here. So they all jump back down in the water. They have to go get to the exit. So they're swimming over. The exit, remember, is the elevator. So to get to the elevator, Montrose was the one who grabbed the papers. This whole let go of the papers, and they floating away. So the elevator door is trying to close, and Letty sees it, and so she goes and she starts swimming out there to get the papers. Of course, the papers are getting further and further away. She finally snags it while, Tick is trying to keep the elevator door open, because if it closes, and it goes up, you only get one shot at this hole. So if you miss the elevator, you miss your shot. You only get one shot. Cannot miss your chance to blow, because opportunity comes once in a lifetime. You better, okay? So she better get on this fucking, this elevator, or you out of luck. So she makes it back on the elevator. As they're going up the elevator, this Siren, like I said, that's her name. She lets out this, she's screaming or whatever case it be, and out of nowhere, Tick just decks her. So she falls over, and the next thing we know, we see them back in their car, and they're zooming off or whatever case it be, or it looks like it, right? They're on the elevator, they're getting out, they're free. There was this little quick moment that Hippolyta, she was in her, it's either Hippolyta or Hoopolita. It's one of those. She's in her car with her daughter, and they're headed out of there. They're getting out of there. She kind of feels sad, and like, I didn't get she wanted some answers. I didn't get the answers that I wanted. I didn't, and the daughter's over in the seat, the passenger seat, and she found an atlas, and so she's coloring on it in order to be having, whatever, like what kids do. And Hippolyta's like, where did you get that? Is that, basically Uncle George's atlas? And the daughter's like, yeah, like I found it in the glove compartment. And she's like, let me see that. So she pulls over, she sees it. It's the atlas that they used to go to the places they went to. And so she flips a U in the hoe, and she's like, and the daughter's like, where are we going? And she's like, to get answers. So I'm just, Cause girl, you by yourself. You don't know this world like everybody else do. You know what I mean? Like you haven't met a monster yet. You haven't met, she hasn't met the witchcraft. She hasn't met the supernatural world of yet. You know what I mean? She just knows little old Chicago. So I'm nervous for her to go into this step by herself because you already know Tig, Letty, and Montrose are gonna have to come save her. Like that's just what's gonna happen because she ain't about that life. As it stands, right? And definitely now you put your daughter in danger too. You take your daughter to the place where your husband was murdered. Like, I'm just like, nah, sis. Like, your daughter should stay home. But anyways, she flipped the U on that hoe. So, that's basically, so then we get out of this place, and I don't really know where they had gone to. I remember earlier in the episode where Montrose had asked Letty if she had family there, so maybe they had a family of a person, a family member of Letty's, but I'm not sure. But they're at this apartment, or it can be this house, and the siren's over in the room. Tig was trying to talk to her, get her talking. However, one of the spells that was put on her was that if she escapes out from down where they had her in those tunnels, if she escapes from down there, then he takes her voice away. Because remember, before she was able to communicate, not with English, but luckily, Tig was able to translate what she was saying. Now she can only yell. She can do this siren noise, right? Like she can't talk. And so Tig was like, "Oh, we got to teach her English. Like we got to find out what she knows. We got to get this information from her." And now she knows my spirit, right? Because we saved her, so she knows that we'll be there for her. Like we'll help her out. So Tig is like, let's go get some rest. Da, da, da. And Montrose is basically like, well, let me have a shot at it. Like, let me go in there and let me see what I can do. He go in there, he closed the door. He walked behind her and he goes, "I'm sorry." And then he slits her throat. Slits her throat. And remember what I said? This is one of my speculations. What is he on this trip for if you're going to do all of this? Like maybe I'm certain he knows something that we don't know, or else he wouldn't have done that, right? So what does Montrose know? Like let me know what you guys think. What does Montrose know? Because he knows some shit. What does he know? He knows who Tig's real father is, and he needs to let us know because it looks like he's the only one who knows that's still alive. So before he dies, we need to figure out who Tig's father is. He needs to come clean. So that's basically how this episode ended. I thought it was a great episode. I actually preferred it a little bit more over the last one in some ways. I loved it. Oh, Tig and Lady also had another kiss. Like when she saved the papers as they were floating away, and she got back into the elevator. And the elevator was going up, and so the water was going down. Tig kissed the hell out of her, and I was like, yes, Jonathan Majors is... And we already know Journey Smollett is beautiful and gorgeous and amazing. So anyways, yeah. So I was excited at the end of this episode. I'm very much so excited to see what the next episode holds for us, because this one was good. I do realize that this episode was released a little bit earlier last week, or whatever it can be, or some hours, I don't know, a day earlier, whatever it can be. However, last week was just a week. I had to take some time off because it was just so much. I am an empath. I am an emotional person. I feel things greatly for other people. I usually don't feel much for myself because I do not like self-pity. So I'm the opposite of Rose. I don't like to pity myself. However, I feel greatly for other people. And so the whole thing with, may his soul rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman, just so much was just affected me, and I just couldn't do it. So I know that I still owe you guys my review for for the final, the finale of I May Destroy You. I will get that up this week. In a couple of days. So today is Tuesday, so I'll get that up by Thursday just to give this video a couple of days to do its thing. However, I will be back with that and try to add a little bit of something extra in there. I probably might give you like my top, like out of I think we got 12 episodes. I might tell you what my top 5 episodes were from that series, because there were some really good episodes, and I like, she's like a mentor to me. Like, she don't know it because she don't know me yet, but Michaela Cole's a mentor to me for writing because she's just brilliant, and she's so giving, and she's just so amazing. But anyways, I'm gonna get up off of here because this has already been long enough. Hopefully, you guys watch the whole thing. If you make it to this point where I'm saying watch the whole thing, let me know that you made it to this point. But anyways, I'm gonna get up off of here. Again, if you guys are new here, please hit the subscribe button. Also, hit the thumbs up. That would greatly, help me. I would really appreciate it. Again, it is free, costs nothing to do. Hit the thumbs up. Anyways, love you guys. I'm gonna get up out of here because this lighting definitely changed. It's darker. I have a light over here too to help me out, but I don't know how this looks. So let me get up off of here, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.